welcome to the Erica Russo Show. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am beyond excited that the universe has led you here today. And if you are an OG, if you continue to come back, if you continue to press play, if you continue to lean into your own intuition, hug your inner child, laugh, cry, dance in the rain, all the things, I love you. Thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you so much for tuning in each time a new episode drops. I really do appreciate it. Now that that is all said and done, if you are enjoying this podcast, if it's giving you clarity, if it's giving you those aha moments, if it's just making your drive to work or the supermarket that much more enjoyable, I would be eternally grateful if you can leave a review on Spotify or Apple. Those reviews allow this podcast to get to more ears, and now more than ever, I think conversations like the ones that we have on this podcast or the topics that I talk about can really help a lot more people. Before you go ahead and click submit on that review, send a screenshot to me over on Instagram at Erica W. Russo, and I would love to send you a free gift for supporting this podcast. Now that that is all said and done, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'm a little bit nasally. Like, of course, on October 1st, when I'm recording, I'm batching the content and I'm recording it and scheduling it out. It's the day that I get the sniffles. I feel fine. I feel totally fine, but it's like, of course, it is New England in October. Why wouldn't I get the sniffles? And why wouldn't I need to blow my nose right after I put my makeup on? I know it's not a problem, but it is kind of an annoyance. But now that that is all said and done, I'm really excited to share with you this excerpt from a workshop or class that I taught a while back. And the topic is about creating confidence. If I had $1 for every single time I worked with a highly intuitive, highly mediumistic individual who lacked confidence within themselves and their abilities, I'd have a lot of fucking dollars, let me tell you, okay? That's probably the biggest mountain that everyone is going to climb when it comes to spiritual development, is creating that confidence within yourself. I know for a fact that that was the big thing for me, to be completely honest. I began to develop my psychic and my mediumship abilities back in 2017, okay? And it took me over a year, 14 months to be exact, of practice, of creating tally systems just to boost my confidence within myself, just going and doing practice readings. And that 14 months, what I recognize is that it was a me versus me situation. And a lot of times that's how it kind of pans out for anybody who's developing their psychic abilities. It's very interesting. I've been doing this for so long and I've seen all different walks of life, come into this world. And it's always the ones that lack self-confidence that are the most intuitive. I'm telling you right now, those are the people that blow me away with their abilities. And it's the ones that have way too much confidence where they need to, and they just, they walk around like they are, I don't know, Archangel Michael incarnated, and they have way too much confidence where it's like, your shit sucks, okay? But that's neither here or there. That is a story for a different day. In today's episode, you're going to get a little insider's peak when it comes to confidence, okay? So I hope that you enjoy it. I'm sharing a bunch of tips and tricks throughout this, so be sure to write them down, write it in your notes app, get your journal handy, because even if you are not actively wanting to develop your intuition, your mediumship abilities, or any of that, confidence is a skill, period. Okay, the more confidence you have, the better off you are. It's not something that you are either born with or not born with. This is a very self-reflective and very it has nothing to do with other people. And that's what I've recognized on my own journey into building confidence within myself. It has nothing to do with other people. It has everything to do with the faith that I have within myself and the confidence that I know that even if I screw up, even if I make a mistake, even if things don't go according to plan, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to figure it out. And if you can go through life with that sort of mentality, you're good as golden. So I hope that you enjoy today's episode. Be sure to come hang out with me on Instagram at Erica W. Russo. And be sure to come and hang out on my email list. That is probably the best place for you to be, actually, is my email list, because you're going to get notified every time a new episode drops, and so much more. You get, first insider's peek into everything that I offer, and then some. With that being said, I hope that you guys enjoy this episode, and I will see you around the internet.
All right, guys. This is one of those things. I have Cardi B's voice in my head being like, I've been dying to talk about this. I'm so happy somebody brought it up because confidence is something that I'm passionate about. Confidence is something that is not only going to help you in your spiritual work, your spiritual development, your business, but it's just going to help you in life in general. And I think that there's so many misconceptions when it comes to confidence. Confidence is not something that you have from time to time. Confidence is a skill, okay? And it's a very valuable one at that in every different scenario. So, we're going to talk about creating and building upon your confidence, not only in your spiritual work, your spiritual development, because, we're in a spiritual development program and this is ultimately what we want to have confidence when it comes to doing psychic work and mediumship work and anything intuitive. But we also just want to be confident people. We also want to know that we are strong and capable of anything that life throws at us. Okay. So let's first talk about the difference between self confidence and self esteem. Now, a lot of people get these two mixed up, and they're two somewhat similar, but very different aspects. Self esteem is how much you like and value yourself. Someone with a high self esteem is someone who places a lot of value on who they are and their characteristics and what they bring to the table. Self confidence is a little different. Self confidence is how much you believe in your capabilities to achieve your goals. Kind of different because when I first really started trying to understand confidence, because I'm not shy about talking about my own personal journey with imposter syndrome and dealing with me nitpicking everything that I was bringing into all of the readings and stuff like that. I'm pretty honest about it. So I started to really sit with confidence because I'm going to be real with you. There are some TikTok psychics that have a lot of confidence and not so much skill. There's a lot of people out there that have enormous amounts of confidence in who they are and what they do and the services that they offer. But what the talent isn't there. And it's really true what they say that, like, there are people already doing the things that you want to do just because they were confident. They're probably less competent, but they have more confidence. So confidence is such an extremely valuable skill skill. It's not a personality trait. It's not something that you have here and there when you feel and look good. It is a skill, just like typing, just like accounting. It's a skill. And you can bring that into everything in your life. And it's so incredibly important. And it's so incredibly important when you're doing spiritual work, when you're offering spiritual services. I always say that, like, hypothetically, knock on wood, if you have to go to a brain surgeon, they find a tumor in your brain. Do you want a brain surgeon who doesn't have confidence that they can help you? Are you going to go to one that probably has a long list of all the things that they've done? They have all the diplomas in their office stacked up high, all the books, but they don't have confidence within their own abilities? Are you going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get your tumor removed from that doctor? Or are you going to go to a doctor that maybe only has two or three diplomas on their wall, but they have an aura of confidence in their ability to help you? Which one are you going to? You got to believe in yourself first. And this is something that is so, everybody gets this wrong when it comes to spiritual development. It's, do you believe in this deity? Do you believe in this archangel? Do you believe in God? None of that matters if you don't believe in yourself first and foremost. The roots create the fruits. You have to believe in yourself. Simple as that. Now, again, these are skills. It is a skill. Confidence is a skill. And the way you build upon that skill is quite literally doing the things that you said that you were going to do. That's it. That's literally how you build confidence. Do the things that you said you're going to do. Pretty simple, right? It's pretty simple. If I said that I was going to go take out the garbage, I'm going to go take out the garbage. And it's tiny things like that. There was this study a couple years ago where they took a lot of CEOs and successful business owners and really saw how they prioritize their days and how they become so efficient in their workday. And what they found was a lot of them did a thing in the morning called the Daily Five concept. The Daily Five concept is really quite simple. You take a journal, a notebook, paper, and you write down 5 tasks that you want to achieve that day. And these tasks can be so small. It could be change the kitty litter. It could be throw away, clean your fridge. It could be such simple tasks. But so long as you do them, you're training your brain to believe that you can accomplish it. Simple, right? I was like, when I heard that, I was like, that's so simple. So simple. It's not create Rome in a day. These are simple, bite-sized things. Every single day, write 5 things that you want to accomplish that day. And I promise you, this is something that I do every day. This is something that Tony does every day. We look back, and every time we cross something off that list, you get this boost. It's hard to explain. It's like, yes, motherfucker. Yes, I'm scratching this off. It feels good. And the more of these you do, and you highlight it off or cross it off, you're building confidence within your subconscious mind because you're proving to yourself that the things that you set out to do, you do them. You're improving your ability to not only believe that you are capable of things, even if they're small. It doesn't matter what the task is. That's the most interesting thing. It doesn't have to be this catastrophic big thing. It could be something so small, but you're training your brain to become more confident within your abilities. Okay. Now, that's just for personal confidence. That is just a personal thing that you can start doing that will not only help with your spiritual confidence, but your everyday life confidence. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about some of the things that you can start incorporating to build confidence in your spiritual work, in your psychic readings, okay, in your intuition, because this one's a little harder. This one, it's not as simple as just doing that. I get that. I've been doing this a long time. This takes time, and it's not something that everybody does, right? We don't, it's so funny because it's just like you're starting from ground zero. You're starting something brand new with psychic work and mediumship work. You are literally, when you do this, it's such a new world. It's such a new experience. You don't know what to expect every time you come into a circle. You have no idea. And it's something that is going to take time to build. But some of the things that you can do, simple things that you can start doing to start building your spiritual confidence is we've talked about this, the tally system. I really put a lot of emphasis on the tally system for the simple fact that if I didn't start that, I don't know where I'd be. I needed to physically see that I was getting positive readings. Okay. So literally taking that same piece of paper that you're doing the daily five concept, putting a line through it, putting not accurate and accurate on the two sides of the line. And just every time you get an accurate hit, you put a tally. Every time you don't, you put it on the other side. This isn't to give you gold stars. This is helping you and your subconscious mind. When we write something down, we are 80, I think it's like 80% more. It's like 80% more that it's going to come true. So, when we're journaling for like manifestation things, when we're doing this, writing it down and dumping it somewhere is important. It's not just to just journal. And I think that like a lot of people, when they talk about journal work, they don't necessarily tell you why it's so important and why it's effective in personal and spiritual development, because it's you're setting that intention out into the world. It's not just a thought swimming around your head. You're taking the next step and putting it onto a physical piece of paper. So doing the tally system, every time you go and, you come to a workshop or whatever, have it handy and you just do a tally and let the tallies grow, let them build. And eventually, because that's literally how it happened for me. I just looked down one day and I was like, shit, I need to start a new page. And that's when I recognized I'm like, I could do this. I could do this. No problem. Another thing that I wanted to share was something called segment intending. Okay. This is a concept taught by Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks is a law of attraction teacher, manifestation teacher. It is a channeled group of beings that Esther Hicks channels. Okay. Been following the teachings for a while. And this is something that works. I've used it many times. And the concept is this: our days are broken up into different segments. You wake up, you go to the bathroom. That's your first segment. Then you go and you grab your cup of coffee or you get breakfast. That's another segment. And then you go take a shower and get ready for the day. That's another segment. Our days are broken into different segments. And what we can begin to do is throughout the segments, we can start manifesting the outcomes in which we want in future segments. So, for example, a couple years ago, I had someone who booked a mediumship reading. They booked a 1 hour mediumship reading. I shouldn't have been offering 1 hour mediumship readings because it's too long and I'm exhausted afterwards. I should have just stuck with 30, but this person liked their hour readings, so whatever. So they booked a reading and it was like at 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. And that whole morning, I was anxious. I didn't really, I don't like it's a very like uncomfortable feeling waiting to sit there and to open up to spirit. It's so weird. But anyway, I remembered segment intending. Okay. So I was already in a funk because I was like, I don't want to do this 1 hour reading. I'm always so exhausted afterwards, right? So I shifted. I quickly put a stop to the negative spiraling. And I just said, you know what? That's going to be a damn good reading. I'm going to be so fucking good. I'm going to be so connected to spirit. It's going to be like they're sitting on my lap. It's going to be, they're going to talk. I'm going to have so much evidence. It's going to be amazing. And throughout the segments up until the reading, I would just talk it out. I would just really lean into it. I would be like, this is going to be incredible. I'm going to bring so much evidence. The person is going to feel such love from their loved one in spirit. It's just going to be amazing. I can't wait for this. And then, sure than shit, the reading came and it was a great reading, like a superb reading. A lot of evidence came through. Everything that I asked for came through. And this is something that you can start to play with. You know, you can start to play with once you start booking clients, booking sessions, booking readings, coming into workshops. Start playing with this. I'm going to get such evidence. I'm going to wow them. I'm going to get a name. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that and really get yourself into that vibration. Doesn't hurt. And I've done segment intending for many years and it works. It works. It shifts the vibration. It shifts the outcome. You are manipulating energy when you are doing segment intending. Try it. Try it for your readings, okay? Especially when you're nervous, especially when you're like, oh my God, is spirit going to come through? Oh my God, are they going to ask for a refund? Stop it, Erica. Stop it. Just stop it in its tracks. This is why self awareness is so important, okay? Believe it or not, the human brain is has a tendency to go down the negative path. Believe it or not, shocking, right? Every single human brain has the tendency to veer to the negative. How do we do that? How do we not go down the spiraling staircase of doom and gloom? We become the 1%. When we find ourselves nitpicking the negative, going down the staircase, it is up to us to stop ourselves, take a step back, and look at the other side of the coin. That's the only way. This takes time, it takes effort, it takes perseverance, and it takes patience and grace. You know, I never got how people, you know, they just, the human brain, again, it goes to the negative. That is the default. That is the default. Okay. That doesn't mean that you are doom and gloom. That doesn't mean that you have depression. That doesn't mean anything. It means that you have a functioning human brain. Okay. It is ultimately up to us to become aware enough to shift it, to think positively. If we are constantly just doom and gloom, oh, that sounds like a horrible fucking life if you ask me. But yeah, it's up to us. Now, another thing that I'm going to talk about when it comes to confidence is, believe it or not, Taking care of yourself. It's a confidence booster. Taking care of yourself, feeling good, putting on makeup, making yourself feel good. I don't know about you. And some people might say, "Oh, that's vain." Well, I don't call it vain, call it whatever you want, but I know I fucking feel a lot better about myself when I got makeup on, my hair is done, I feel good about myself. I don't know about you. Doesn't make me feel gross. Don't know about you. Every time I go out on a date with my husband and I feel good, I look good, I'm showered, makes me feel better. You know, call it vain, call it, yeah, I know. We're all beautiful exactly the way we are. I get it. I get it. Doesn't take away the fact that I feel good when I have a tan. Okay. Doesn't take away the fact that I feel good when I have contour and I'm wearing a nice shirt. Doesn't take it away. I know we're all beautiful from the inside out. I get it. Can't can't take that away. Sorry. You know, go ahead, raise your hand if you feel better about yourself with a tan. Go ahead. Do you feel better when you're wearing a cute sundress and your hair is nice? Right. It's not vain, it's the truth. It's the truth. Simple things like that. When I was at my lowest, when I felt like shit, I wasn't taking care of myself. Granted, I kind of lost myself in motherhood, but that was the lowest point because I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't prioritizing myself. And then when I started to prioritize myself, I started to feel better. Simple as that. So, really recognizing these things, it's really simple. Like, confidence is actually quite simple to attain. It really is, believe it or not. It's just understanding that it's a skill and not a trait. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Now I want to talk about our fears when it comes to intuition, when it comes to spiritual work, when it comes to life in general. Because believe it or not, your fears are pretty common. Okay. So let's talk about your biggest key fear when it comes to your spiritual development. What's the first thing that comes up, Erica?
It's a toss up between like failing them in the reading, not doing good enough, basically.
Okay. And just not being able to actually get info. Gotcha. So basically the same thing. Basically the same thing. Okay. I get that. And here's the thing that I'm going to say. I've worked with a lot of people when it comes to spiritual development. And you want to know the big things that give me a red flag is when they are too overly confident, too quickly. 90% of this program is you going to be you against you. 90% of this is you going to be doubting yourself, doubting your abilities, and that's normal. Okay, that's totally normal. It's when homegirl shows up to one of my mediumship circles, does a somewhat C plus reading, and then within an hour starts an Instagram account calling herself Wild Rose Medium. That's when I'm a little scared. It's when a red flag comes out. Okay. This just shows me that you have a good heart. This just shows me that your heart is in the right place. And this just shows me that you're human. Congratulations, you have a functioning human brain. Because essentially, what happens when we receive spiritual information, mediumship, anything, is there's two hemispheres. Nicole, you're going to like this. There's two hemispheres of the brain, okay? The right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. The right hemisphere governs creativity, intuition, spiritual connection. Then we have the left hemisphere, which is our analytical, our logical, our 2 plus 2, mathematics, algebra, all of that stuff. So, what essentially happens when we are connecting to the, I have a very large L. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And then, if you're right-handed, that means you're predominantly left side, your left hemisphere. I'm left-handed, so I'm predominantly right. Okay. So most of the population is right-handed. Therefore, your left hemisphere has more impact on your day-to-day existence. Okay. So with that being said, what happens quite literally is you receive psychic information into the right hemisphere of your brain. It then quickly goes into neural nets that goes right into the left hemisphere, the analytical, the trying to make sense of, the logical. And that's when we tear it apart. And I have seen it time and time again where it's like someone has an incredible psychic hit and then they go, but I could be wrong, or I could just be making this up. And I'm quite literally seeing the two hemispheres of the brain manifest. Okay. How do we overcome this? Well, we don't. We don't. It is what it is. You're always going to be right-handed. It's the way the cookie crumbles. But what you can do is you can have faith. What you can do is you can start taking notes every time you're correct. The evidence will build. The evidence will build. Even if you have ESP trainer on your phone and you're playing it and you begin to see, oh, useful in Vegas. Oh my God, this is they're saying I'm a mystic. All of these things, your brain is registering. Okay. It takes time, it takes patience. It doesn't happen overnight. But, you guys sharing your biggest fear is like, what if you're just making all of this up? I don't know. Like sometimes it's just like you got to look at the person's character, right? You know, I think you questioning it is enough. There are some people that are so on their high horses when it comes to their psychic and their mediumship abilities, and they have the spiritual ego the size of Texas. Okay. That's not somebody I'm going to listen to. That's not someone I'm listening to at all. Okay. And the fact that a lot of people will go into forms of spiritual psychosis and they'll start to get a little crazy. You have to just look at the person's character. You have to just kind of judge by the character of the person. Spiritual psychosis is very, very real. It's very real. And it's something that we're all probably going to experience eventually, doing this work. But it's like that part of your brain that you want to tear apart, that part of your brain that is questioning it. Well, you're not going to question, you're actually going to be very grateful for that when you're doing this work and it's getting a little crazy and shit's hitting the fan and there's too much going on in your head and everything like that. You're going to be very grateful for that logical side of your brain when that comes. There's good and bad in both hemispheres, honestly. But what if your intention is more powerful than your fears, what would happen? Fears are always going to be there. Another level, another devil. There's always going to be another level of fear with everywhere you go on your journey, right? So why don't we just recognize that that's always going to be there, and we just hold on to the power of our intention to be of service, and let that be greater than our stupid fears. And that's really all it is. The people that go farther are the ones that tip the scale, so to speak. They don't allow fear to get in the way of where they want to go and how many people that they want to positively impact. They recognize that it's there. They recognize that it's not going anywhere. There's always going to be another level, and they do it in spite of that. So, what if we just know that our hearts are always in the right place? We're always here for good. We're not trying to scam anybody. We're not trying to take advantage of people. We're just doing our best. We're doing the best with the cards that were dealt. What if that's enough? Because I think it is. I think so long as your heart is in the right place and you're doing it for good reasons, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. I think once, and the thing is when it comes to confidence within your psychic and your mediumship abilities, here's the thing. I can't tell you the number of tallies it's going to take for you to know when you're ready. I can't tell you that. I can give you the tools, the tally system, segment intending. I can give you all the things, but ultimately it's up to you to know when you're ready to take that step. That's it. Some people only need 10 tallies. I had 93. I literally had 93 tallies. That's how long it took me to believe that I was a psychic medium. But also, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Another thing that helped me was finding like Facebook Live psychic mediums and seeing the evidence that they got and realizing I could do better than that. I could do better than that. So maybe going into the depths of the internet or TikTok Live, now I guess it's TikTok Live, and seeing these professional psychics, these professional readers do readings. I guarantee you'll probably say, they're charging that much for that. I can do that. But again, I can't tell you when you're ready. I can be here when you are, and we can do it, but that's on you. You have to jump. You have to take the leap. I've been in the deep end, bitches. I've been telling you it's fine. Like, it's fine. Yes, it's cold. I know. Get in the fucking water. Get in the water. Okay. Ultimately, I think love and I think intention and I think being of service is always going to trump our fears. Always. The reading wasn't what you wanted it to look like. Okay, whatever. Whatever. My heart's still in the right place. I still brought spirit through. Sometimes you have to let go of the identity of like, I have high expectations with things. I have unrealistic expectations with things. I am well aware of that. Okay. I'm never going to change that about who I am as Erica. I, it is what it is. Okay. That's who I am. That's how God made me. I have unrealistic expectations. But what I can stand by is the fact that I'm doing this to help people. I'm doing this to make a difference. I'm doing this to make a positive impact on society and on people's lives. And that's ultimately all that matters. We have to take a step back and have a bigger picture vision. Okay. You're so afraid of getting it wrong. You're so afraid of, oh my God, what if I screw it up? What if I don't do it right? What if I don't do it right? That's that's a small picture. Okay. But if you're able to take a step back and ultimately see that you're here to do good, and one reading that doesn't reach the standards that you created, it's okay. This is a life thing. Okay. This isn't a one and done thing. This is an end game thing. This is a bigger picture vision. Okay. Think bigger. You're doing good. You're going to be fine. Okay. And the funny thing is, the ironic thing is like there was one reading that I did many years ago, and it was like I called it a spirit checkup, where it was essentially, it wasn't a psychic, it wasn't a mediumship reading. It was like, I'm opening up to spirit. I'll probably start at the psychic level. And if spirit wants to come through, I'll let it. Okay. So it was very open ended. It was exactly, it wasn't, it was very open ended. And I remember myself, I didn't think the reading was as good as it could be. Okay. But ultimately, my sitter, my client, loved it. And then her sister came the next week. Just because you're nitpicking it doesn't mean your client is. And if your client is, let them. You don't know where they're at. You don't know, what demons they're fighting. You don't know what standards they hold. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It's okay. I have confidence within myself and my connection to spirit that one subpar reading is not going to discourage me from knowing that I am a channel in which spirit speaks through. Period. Okay. Sometimes our beliefs are going to be what gets us out of our monkey minds. How strong are your beliefs within yourself and your connection to the divine? Is it, oh, maybe I am a little psychic? Maybe I do pick up energy here and there. Or are you a channel in which spirit speaks through? Vibe is different, right? Vibe is very different. Maybe I'm a little intuitive. Maybe I pick this up here and there. Maybe I am clairsentient because I feel a lot. I feel a lot of stuff. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Or are you a channel in which spirit speaks through? In whatever capacity that looks like, trans mediumship, evidential mediumship, psychic, intuition. What are your beliefs? Do you believe that you are here to do good in this world? Do you believe that you are here to be of service? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, you're here to be of service. Okay. Is that something that you feel very much in your body? You feel it in your heart, you feel it in your throat, you feel it in your gut, you feel it, you just know it to be true that you are here to be of service. Hold on to that. Hold on to that for dear life. And you're probably going to have to remind yourself that a couple of times throughout your journey. You got a reading and the reading was kind of hazy. Cool. You're still here to be of service. There was like a weird vibe with one of your clients and they were asking too many questions and it didn't feel like they were resonating with the messages that you were sharing. Cool. Whatever. You're still here to be of service. Shit happens. Shit happens. And sometimes just because they don't resonate right then and there with the message doesn't mean that it's not going to hit later on. I can't tell you how many times I had all of this information coming out, blah, 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 and they're just like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what this means. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. And then a day later, I get an email being like, oh, I talked to them and yeah, that was true. And this happened. Of course it is. Happened with Erica. Sometimes it doesn't hit right then. And sometimes you're just there to give the message, deliver the message, but it might take a couple years for them to really feel into it. You know, Same goes with like human design and natal charts and soul contracts. I always say that, like, when I uncovered my soul contract back in 2019, I didn't resonate with my spiritual karma. Didn't make sense to me. I didn't know what it meant. Didn't know what it meant. I put it on the shelf, went on with my life. About 8 months later, I went back, I revisited it, and then I set the intention of like, I want to start seeing this karma manifest into my life. I want to understand this. I want to learn this lesson. And then about a year after, I then began to understand it. I then began to be like, this makes sense. This makes a lot of sense now. Our journeys are never ending. Well, they do end, kind of, but we are not the same people that we are today to 3 years from now. There's a lot we need to learn in the process. There's a lot of letting go. There's a lot of lessons that we have to learn for us to really come to a place of getting a message and receiving that message and understanding that message. Okay. You have to think of it for yourself as well. How many times did you get a reading or something? Somebody said something once and it didn't really resonate with you at that time. And then maybe 3 years down the line, it comes into your awareness again and you're like, oh, now I see that. Now I get it. Do we have any questions? No. So, to recap, confidence, okay? The difference between confidence and self-esteem. Self-esteem is how much you like and value yourself. Self-confidence is how much you believe in your capabilities to achieve your goals. Okay? These are not traits, these are skills. Confidence in spiritual work, okay, this is a bit more challenging because it's new and it's different. It's definitely different, okay? And it's a good thing that you doubt. It's a good thing that you question, okay? That shows me that your heart's in the right place and you're here to do good. You don't want to scam people. You don't want to be a clown in this work. You're here to do good, okay? Now, the daily five concept, writing down 5 things that you want to accomplish throughout your day. These tasks can be very, very small, but ultimately it's tricking your mind into letting you understand that you can do things, you accomplish things. This builds the skill of confidence, okay? The segment intending. This is good for, when you're getting afraid of an outcome, okay? Using this to your advantage, okay? And then the tally system, tried and true. Tried and true. If you don't want to do it that way, go into the notes app on your phone and do things there, okay? But ultimately, you're needing to trick your brain. You're needing to show your brain evidence that you are psychic. That's ultimately what it is. All right. So that is creating confidence.